Hello from Mindset Daily, wishing you a day full of health, peace, and happiness. Thank you for watching the Mindset Daily channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe to support us. Thank you so much.
What if just 5 months could completely reshape the direction of your life? What if the secret to success wasn't about time, but about what you choose to do with it? And what if the only thing standing between you and transformation is a single decision? The beautiful thing about 5 months is that it's long enough to produce real, visible results, but still short enough to maintain intense focus. It's not a lifetime commitment. It's a season. And the truth is, almost anyone can accomplish something extraordinary in 5 months if they're fully committed. And commitment, real, unshakable commitment, is always where the journey begins. I learned long ago that it's never what happens to you that shapes your future. What matters is how you respond to it. That's powerful news. It means your future doesn't depend on outside circumstances. You don't have to wait for the world to improve. You simply need to shift your response to the world around you. So let's dive into this 5-month plan, a 150-day roadmap designed to transform your life from the inside out. Doesn't that sound like a worthwhile investment? Here's the first thing you need to grasp. All transformation starts with a decision. Not a vague wish, not a hopeful dream, but a firm, resolute decision. The Latin root of decision means to cut off. That's exactly what transformation demands. When you decide to change your life, you're cutting off all other possibilities. You're burning the ships behind you. You're declaring, this is it. No turning back. I'm all in. I remember a young man who came to me years ago, broke, discouraged, and without a clear direction. But that day, he made a decision that changed everything. Within 5 months, he had launched a small business, paid off his debts, and was taking confident steps toward financial independence. What was the turning point? He decided, and then he acted on that decision every single day. Now, let's talk about the foundation of this 5-month plan, the 5 pillars that will support your transformation. I encourage you to write these down and hold them close. They're not just ideas. They're a blueprint. Pillar number 1 is philosophy. Your philosophy is how you see life, your attitude toward what happens, and your belief about how you can respond. It's the internal compass that drives your behavior. And here's the best part. You don't have to inherit your philosophy from someone else. You can choose it. You can build it. You can rewire it. For the next 5 months, I challenge you to adopt a philosophy of personal responsibility. No more blame. No more excuses. The moment you stop pointing fingers and start owning your actions is the moment real change begins. When something goes wrong, don't run. Don't hide. Ask yourself, what can I learn? What can I do better? Because that's the mindset that sets transformation in motion. Stay tuned for the next pillar. And remember, your journey begins the moment you decide it will. Wishing you strength, clarity, and transformation. Don't forget to subscribe to Mindset Daily for more powerful guidance like this. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask yourself something far more empowering. What can I learn from this? How can I grow through this experience? That small shift in questioning can open doors you didn't even know existed. I once knew a woman who went through what many would consider a personal storm. Within just a few months, she lost her job, her marriage fell apart, and she was forced to leave her home. For most people, that kind of loss would be overwhelming. But instead of letting it break her, she made a decision. She chose to let the pain fuel her growth rather than her bitterness. She looked me in the eye and said, Mr. Rohn, I've decided these events won't destroy me. They'll define me. And she meant it. Within 5 months, she had not only launched a new career, but had also begun healing long-buried emotional wounds. Remarkably, she told me she felt happier and more alive than she had in years. Now, how does that happen? That's the power of philosophy. Your personal philosophy shapes the way you process the events of your life. So for the next 5 months, adopt a new lens, a philosophy that doesn't say, life is happening to me, but instead boldly declares, life is happening for me. When you make that one mental adjustment, watch how everything else begins to fall into place. Now let's talk about the second pillar of transformation, goals. Many people have dreams, but only a few have real, actionable goals. So what's the difference? Dreams are vague, often fuzzy ideas floating in your mind. But goals? Goals are clear, specific, and measurable. A dream might say, I want to get in shape, while a goal says, I'll walk 30 minutes every morning and eat clean 5 days a week. Dreams live in your imagination. Goals live on paper and push you into action. Over the next 5 months, I want you to set specific goals in each key area of your life: your finances, physical health, relationships, spiritual life, and career. And don't just think about them, write them down. There's something powerful that happens when a thought moves from your head to your hand. It becomes tangible. It becomes real. But here's a word of caution. Don't overwhelm yourself by setting 20 goals. That's one of the biggest mistakes people make. When everything's a priority, nothing truly is. So instead, choose one major goal in each of those 5 areas. That's it. 5 goals for 5 months. Simple, focused, and effective. Because simplicity leads to focus, and focus leads to results. I remember a man who attended one of my seminars. He had always dreamed of writing a book, but felt stuck. He kept telling himself he'd do it someday, but that day never came. I asked him directly, is writing this book a goal or just a dream? After a pause, he admitted it was just a dream. So we turned it into a goal, right then and there. We decided he would write just 1 page a day for 5 months. Doesn't sound like much, right? But over 5 months, that's about 150 pages, the length of a full book. And when he came back to see me 5 months later, he didn't just have a few ideas scribbled down. He held in his hands a completed manuscript. That's the power of commitment and clear goals. And yes, 5 months later, he had a publisher. That's the incredible power of setting clear goals and taking consistent action. Dreams stay dreams without effort. But when you pair clarity with discipline, results follow. That leads us straight into the 3rd pillar of this 5-month transformation: action. Let's be honest, philosophy without action is just theory. Goals without action, they're just wishes. It's action that breathes life into your ideas. It's the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. So for the next 5 months, I want you to commit, not just casually, but fully, to taking daily action on each of your 5 goals. Not once a week, not when inspiration strikes, not only when you're motivated. Every single day, even if it's just 15 minutes, even when you're exhausted, even when you don't see progress yet. Because the truth is, success doesn't come from what you occasionally do. It comes from what you consistently do. It's not about dramatic breakthroughs. It's about the quiet, unglamorous disciplines that repeat day after day. The secret to success? It's hidden in your daily routine. I remember a young athlete determined to reach the Olympics. Every morning for 5 months, he woke up at 5 a.m. to train before school. Rain or shine, feeling great or feeling miserable, he showed up. His friends thought he was out of his mind. But at the end of those 5 months, his performance had skyrocketed. He didn't just improve, he qualified for the national team. Eventually, he stood on the Olympic podium, not because he was born with rare talent, but because he practiced rare discipline in ordinary moments. Now, let's move into the 4th pillar of your 5-month journey: learning. Growth is not automatic. You must choose it. Over the next 5 months, I urge you to commit to continuous learning and personal development. The greatest investment you'll ever make isn't in stocks, real estate, or even your business. It's the investment you make in yourself. Your income almost never exceeds your level of personal development. If you want to have more, do more, become more, then you must grow more. So here's a simple habit to build. Read at least 10 pages of a good, inspiring, or instructional book every day. That might not sound like much, but in 5 months, that's around 1,500 pages, roughly the equivalent of 5 to 7 impactful books. Can 5 books really change your life? Absolutely. They can shift your mindset, introduce powerful strategies, and give you the tools to succeed in any area of your life. But don't stop at reading. Find mentors. Learn from those who've walked the path before you. Attend seminars, take courses, or join workshops in areas you want to grow. And here's a tip. Turn your commute into a classroom. Listen to educational podcasts or audio programs while driving. The average American spends around 500 to 600 hours per year in their car. Over 5 months, that's roughly 200 to 250 hours. Just imagine what could happen if you use that time to learn, to absorb wisdom, instead of zoning out to the same songs or idle chatter on the radio. I once had a student who decided to listen to personal development audios during his daily 1-hour commute. After 5 months, he told me something remarkable. He felt like he'd earned the equivalent of a master's degree in personal growth. That knowledge gave him the confidence to take bold action and elevate his life to an entirely new level. The truth is, when you commit to learning, you unlock the door to everything else. Stay with me for the final pillar in our 5-month plan. And remember, the smallest step toward growth today can create massive momentum for your future. Don't forget to subscribe to Mindset Daily. We're just getting started. He got the promotion, and with it, a significant raise. That's what consistent learning can do. It opens doors, builds confidence, and puts you in a position to seize new opportunities when they appear. Now we arrive at the 5th pillar, and in many ways, it might be the most impactful of all: association. Who you spend time with during these next 5 months matters more than you might think. There's a principle that's been proven time and again. You become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. That's not just a clever quote. It's a reflection of how human behavior works. Take a moment to reflect. Who's in your immediate circle? Are you consistently surrounded by positive, goal-oriented, growth-minded individuals? Or are you surrounded by complainers, excuse makers, and people who unknowingly or intentionally pull you away from your potential? For the next 5 months, make it a priority to associate with people who are already living the kind of life you aspire to, people who are pursuing goals similar to yours, who think bigger, act with intention, and challenge you to rise higher. This doesn't mean you have to completely cut ties with your old friends or family, but it does mean becoming intentional about where your energy goes. Start spending more time with people who lift you up and less time with those who drag you down, even subtly. I remember a woman who joined one of my mastermind groups for exactly 5 months. Before that, her Saturday mornings were spent sleeping in or watching TV. But once she started spending her Saturdays with a circle of focused entrepreneurs, people actively building their businesses and chasing their goals, everything changed. Her mindset shifted, her habits improved, her business began to grow. That one change in association, it created a domino effect that transformed her life. And it all happened in just 5 months. So there you have it, the 5 pillars of transformation: philosophy, goals, action, learning, and association. Each one plays a critical role. But remember, knowing them isn't enough. You must live them every day for the next 5 months. Now let me walk you through how to structure your 5-month plan for maximum impact. We're not going to leave it vague or abstract. We're going to break it down month by month, week by week, even day by day. Month 1 is all about clarity and foundation. This is where everything begins. You must get absolutely clear on what you want, and more importantly, why you want it. This is your chance to define your 5 specific goals, write your personal mission statement, and begin reshaping your environment to support your new direction. That means eliminating distractions, cleaning up physical spaces, and establishing daily disciplines that align with the life you're building. Don't worry if the results aren't immediate. This is the season for planting, not harvesting. Just like a farmer doesn't plant seeds and expect crops the next morning, you shouldn't expect overnight change. But make no mistake, the seed you plant in this first month will set the tone for everything that follows. Your new actions are just beginning to take root. But believe me when I say this, the seeds you plant in this first month will grow into something remarkable if you nurture them with patience and persistence. Progress might feel slow at first, but don't mistake quiet beginnings for lack of power. Great change starts subtly. In this first month, you may also experience resistance, not just from the world around you, but from within. That's completely normal. Anytime you try to raise your standards and elevate your life, resistance shows up. It's part of the process. Expect it, prepare for it, and most importantly, don't back down from it. Remember this: the pain of discipline weighs ounces, but the pain of regret weighs tons. Now let's move into month 2, the month of momentum and adjustment. By now, your daily disciplines should start to feel more natural. The things that once required effort and willpower are slowly turning into habits. And with those habits, you'll likely begin to see small wins, minor results that spark motivation and build confidence. This is where the journey starts to feel real. But month 2 is also a time for honest reflection. This is the time to assess what's working and what's not. You may need to fine-tune your strategy, drop what isn't effective, and double down on the actions that are creating traction. It's like a craftsman sharpening his tools mid-project. Not because he failed, but because he's committed to mastery. Still, be prepared for what I call the dip. This is that moment when the initial excitement fades. The grind begins to set in. You might feel tired, distracted, or even discouraged. The path becomes steeper. This is the moment where many people give up. But not you, because you now understand something most people miss. The path to success is rarely straight. It winds, it curves, and yes, it dips. Your job isn't to avoid these moments. Your job is to move through them, wiser and stronger each time. I once worked with a gentleman who was determined to transform his physical health. In the second month of his journey, he hit a plateau. The pounds stopped dropping, his motivation dipped, and self-doubt crept in. But instead of giving up, he chose to adapt. He revised his workout routine, improved his nutrition plan, and recommitted to the process. By the end of 5 months, he had lost 40 pounds and finished his very first marathon. The dip didn't defeat him, it defined him. Month 3 is where the real shift begins. This month is about deepening and reinforcement. By now, the changes you've made are no longer just external. You're not just doing different things, you're becoming someone different. Your behaviors, your choices, your mindset, they've started aligning with the future you're building. Your identity is catching up to your intention. This is the time to go deeper. Deepen your learning. Strengthen your routines. Reinforce your commitment. Make it real on a cellular level. Not just something you're trying, but something you now live. And here's something amazing. This is often the month where unexpected opportunities begin to appear. Doors start to open that you didn't even know were there. Why does that happen? Because your actions have changed. Your results have shifted. And as a result, your reality expands. I remember a business owner who decided to fully commit to a 5-month transformation of her company. She started refining her systems, investing in her leadership, and shifting her mindset. And then, right in the 3rd month, something incredible happened. An unexpected partnership opportunity came her way. She was approached by a larger company about a potential partnership, something that had never happened to her before. Why now? Because her new mindset and intentional actions had transformed how she ran her business. Her company had become more visible, more efficient, and more valuable. That partnership didn't just make headlines, it doubled her revenue within a year. That's the kind of ripple effect deep change can create. Now let's talk about month 4, which is all about acceleration and leverage. At this point in your journey, you've built a solid foundation. You've created momentum. You've deepened your commitment. Now it's time to amplify everything, to take what's working and multiply it while cutting out what no longer serves you. In this 4th month, focus on leverage, the strategic use of your time, energy, and resources to achieve more with less effort. If reading 10 pages a day has been valuable, see if you can increase that to 20. If your new network has opened a few doors, look for ways to expand those relationships further. If your daily habits are generating results, consider how to systematize or automate parts of the process so your progress scales faster. This is also the time to eliminate anything and anyone that's slowing you down. Old habits, time-wasting distractions, negative influences, or energy-draining commitments. They have no place in this next chapter. Remember, growth isn't just about doing more of the right things. It's also about stopping the wrong ones. I once worked with a sales professional who had been pushing hard for 4 months. He'd already doubled his sales numbers, but when we took a closer look, he realized something surprising. He was still spending hours every day on non-essential tasks. So he made a powerful choice. He delegated his admin work, tightened his calendar, and doubled down on what truly moved the needle. That one shift in how he used his time, it tripled his already doubled sales in just a single month. That's the power of leverage in action. Now we move into month 5, the final stage, and it's all about integration and expansion. This is where everything you've built begins to come together as one. Your philosophy, your goals, your daily actions, your learning habits, your associations, they're no longer just pieces of a plan. They become part of who you are. You've rewired your mindset. You've reshaped your identity. This is also the time to step back and ask a deeper question. What's next? How can you build on the progress you've made? What would it look like to take things to the next level? Not just in one area, but across your entire life. In this final month, make time for reflection. Look back and take in how far you've come. Celebrate your wins, learn from your missteps, and start laying the groundwork for what's ahead. Because here's the truth. This 5-month plan was never meant to be the end of your journey. It's just the beginning. This is just the beginning. I remember working with a young entrepreneur who followed a 5-month plan to launch his very first business. By the time he reached month 5, not only was his business generating steady profits, but he was already mapping out his next venture. What impressed me most wasn't just the business results. It was who he had become in the process. His growth wasn't about building a business. It was about becoming the kind of person who builds successful businesses again and again. Now, let me be completely honest with you. This 5-month plan isn't easy. If it were, everyone would be doing it. But here's the encouraging part. While it's not easy, it is simple. The principles are clear. The path is defined. The only real question left is, are you willing to walk it? To help guide you, I want to offer some practical strategies that align with each of the 5 pillars we've covered. These will help you stay focused and build consistency over the next 5 months. Let's start with philosophy. I highly recommend beginning each day with a personal affirmation that reinforces your new way of thinking. For example, I am responsible for my life and my results. Or, every day in every way, I am getting better and better. Don't just say the words. Feel them. Let them sink in. Say them out loud with conviction so they take root in your subconscious mind. Also, surround yourself with reminders that support your new philosophy. Place empowering quotes where you'll see them often, on your bathroom mirror, your desk, or even the lock screen of your phone. Immerse your environment in positive reinforcement until this new way of thinking becomes automatic. Now, let's move to goals. Review your goals every single morning and again before you go to bed at night. Repetition keeps them active in your awareness and anchors your actions to your vision. Then, break each goal down into monthly, weekly, and daily targets. Ask yourself, what must I accomplish this month to stay on track? What needs to happen this week? What's the one thing I need to do today to move forward? Here's another powerful practice, visualization. Take a few quiet minutes each day to close your eyes and mentally experience your goals as already accomplished. Picture the scene, hear the sounds, feel the emotions of success as if it's already real. This kind of mental rehearsal trains your subconscious mind to support your actions, guiding you more naturally towards success. When it comes to action, create what I call non-negotiable daily disciplines. These are specific tasks you commit to doing no matter what, whether you're tired, busy, motivated, or not. These aren't optional. They are part of who you're becoming. Discipline thrives in clarity and consistency. I also suggest using a powerful technique I call bookending your day. This means designing a structured routine to both start and finish your day with intention. Your morning routine might include reviewing your goals, reading something uplifting, and planning your key tasks. Your evening routine could involve reflecting on what went well, identifying areas for improvement, and preparing mentally and logistically for the next day. These 2 daily anchors will keep you aligned and grounded, even when things get chaotic. Now, for the 4th pillar, learning. Just like with your goals, you need a specific education plan for these 5 months. Decide in advance, which books will you read? Which courses will you take? Which mentors, speakers, or thought leaders will you follow? Don't leave your learning to chance. Be intentional about it. And here's one more strategy that might surprise you. Teach what you learn. When you share a new concept or idea with someone else, whether in a conversation, a journal, or a social post, it deepens your understanding. Teaching is one of the most powerful forms of learning. When you teach someone else what you've learned, something powerful happens. You don't just understand it better, you embody it. You learn it twice. So, find someone who could benefit from what you're discovering. Share the insights you're gaining, whether it's a friend, a colleague, or even a family member. Passing on reinforces your own learning while helping someone else move forward too. Now, let's talk about your associations. It's time to do what I call an association audit. This is a simple but revealing exercise. Make a list of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Then, next to each name, ask yourself, does this person lift me up, hold me back, or keep me exactly where I am? Use a simple mark, an up arrow, down arrow, or equal sign to represent how they influence your energy, mindset, and progress. Once you've done this, Take action. Consciously spend more time with those who inspire and elevate you, and reduce time with those who drain or distract you, even if it's just a little. You don't have to make dramatic cuts. Small shifts in attention often lead to major shifts in results. Also, during these 5 months, find a dedicated accountability partner. Choose someone who shares your commitment to growth, someone who will challenge you to stay on course, even when it's hard. Meet regularly. Talk about progress, struggles, and victories. Hold each other to high standards. A strong accountability relationship can be the difference between staying stuck and making a breakthrough. Now, let's address something important: the challenges you're likely to face during this journey. Because let's be honest, 5 months of transformation will test you. And if you're prepared for the obstacles, you'll be far more likely to overcome them. The first challenge is consistency. It's easy to feel motivated for a few days, maybe even a few weeks. But sustaining that energy for 5 months? That takes more than motivation. It takes discipline. Motivation gets you going, but discipline keeps you going, especially on the days when you don't feel like showing up. So how do you stay disciplined? Link pleasure to your daily efforts, and link pain to your inaction. Celebrate small wins, no matter how minor they seem. Finish your daily workout, mark it as a win. Read those 10 pages. That's momentum. And just as importantly, remind yourself what it will cost you if you stay the same. The temporary discomfort of discipline is nothing compared to the lifelong weight of regret. The second challenge is distraction. We live in a world filled with it. Social media, endless scrolling, television, breaking news, and even well-meaning conversations can easily pull you off track. If you're not careful, days slip by. Focus is lost, and goals fade. To fight this, I recommend creating what I call focus blocks. Specific periods of your day dedicated to uninterrupted, high-priority work. During these blocks, turn off your phone, close your email, log out of social media, create space for deep work. Give your undivided attention to what truly matters. The third challenge is one most people don't talk about: doubt. At some point during these 5 months, you're going to wonder, is this really working? Am I capable of finishing? Will the effort even pay off? That voice of uncertainty can be loud, especially when results take time. But here's the key to overcoming doubt. Reconnect with your why. Go back to the reason you started. What was driving you? Was it freedom? Growth? A better future for your family? Tap into that emotional core. Because when your why is strong enough, you'll always find a way through. Surround yourself with constant reminders that transformation is not only possible, it's happening all around you. Look for stories of people who've succeeded, especially those who started from circumstances similar to yours. Reflect on your own past wins, no matter how small. Notice the current signs of progress, even if they feel subtle. All of this builds a kind of internal proof, evidence that growth is real and within reach. Now let's talk about the fourth challenge: setbacks. No matter how well you plan or how committed you are, obstacles will come. You'll make mistakes. You'll face discouraging days. That's just part of any meaningful journey. But here's what's important. Setbacks are events, not identities. Failing at something doesn't make you a failure. It simply means you found a method that didn't work, and that you're one step closer to finding one that will. Learn from what went wrong. Adjust your plan. And most importantly, keep moving forward. As I often say, it's not what happens to you that defines you. It's what you do about what happens. The fifth challenge is your environment. Many people underestimate how much their physical space influences their behavior. But your environment can either help you soar or quietly sabotage your efforts. So, how do you create an environment that supports your transformation? Start by removing temptations, anything that makes it easier to slip back into old habits. Then, add inspiration. Surround yourself with things that remind you of your goals and values. Design your space in a way that makes good behaviors easy and bad ones harder. If you want to read more, put books where you'll see them, on your nightstand, your coffee table, even your kitchen counter. Hide the TV remote if you need to. If your goal is to eat healthier, fill your kitchen with fresh, nutritious food, and keep the junk food out of the house entirely. Make success easy and failure inconvenient. Your environment should act like a tailwind, pushing you forward, not a headwind holding you back. Now let me share with you what becomes possible when you truly commit to this 5-month plan. I've watched people double their income, transform their bodies, rebuild broken relationships, start thriving businesses, and completely rewrite their life stories, all within just 5 months. I think of one gentleman who attended a seminar I led years ago. He was in his early 50s, overweight, drowning in debt, and convinced that his best years were already behind him. But something shifted that day. He made a decision. He committed to a 5-month transformation, very similar to what I'm sharing with you now. 5 months later, everything had changed. He had lost 30 pounds. He paid off $15,000 in debt. He'd launched a side business that was already turning a profit. And most beautifully of all, he had reconnected with his adult children, repairing relationships that once seemed broken beyond repair. He told me it felt like getting a second chance at life. Then there was the single mother I worked with. She was stuck in a job she hated, barely making ends meet. She decided to use this 5-month plan to change the course of her career. She set a goal to transition into a new industry. She started learning new skills in her limited spare time, reached out to people in her target field, and took consistent, focused action day by day. 5 months later, she had achieved her goal. She landed her dream job, one that offered a 40% increase in salary and flexible hours, which meant she could finally spend more meaningful time with her children. Now, let me be clear. These aren't rare or impossible success stories. They're not exceptions. They're examples of what happens when everyday people make a decision, follow through with consistent effort, and apply the principles we've been talking about. Ordinary people, real lives, real change. And if they can do it, why not you? That brings me to something important, a hesitation some of you might be feeling. You might be thinking, 5 months? That's too long. I want results now. I hear that a lot. But let me ask you something in return. Where would you be right now if you had started this 5-month plan 5 months ago? Seriously, think about it. And now consider this. Where will you be 5 months from today if you don't start now? Time will pass no matter what. The seasons will change. The weeks will roll on. The only question is, will you use that time to transform your life? Or will you find yourself in the same situation 5 months from now, wishing you had taken action today? There's another thought that might be creeping in. Maybe you're thinking, I've tried to change before. I've started things, made plans, and I didn't follow through. Why would this time be any different? That's a fair question, and the answer is worth thinking about. What makes this different is that this time, you're not just operating on vague intentions or wishful thinking. You have a clear, structured plan or roadmap. This isn't about random inspiration. It's about strategy. And more than that, this time you're not just focused on what you do. You now understand that true transformation is about who you become in the process. You also recognize something that many people never do. Success isn't a single event. It's a process, a daily commitment, a quiet evolution that adds up. Let me share why I deeply believe this 5-month plan can work for you, if you're willing to work it. First, this plan is grounded in principles that have stood the test of time. These aren't passing trends or shiny new tactics. They are timeless truths about personal growth, goal achievement, and human behavior. Principles that have been proven again and again over generations. Second, this plan addresses every major dimension of real transformation. Not just your goals, not just your actions, but your mindset, your learning, your daily disciplines, and your associations. It's not a surface-level fix. It's a comprehensive shift. And third, the plan gives you enough time to create lasting change, but not so much that it feels out of reach. 5 months is long enough to build momentum, create habits, and see measurable results. But it's also short enough to keep your focus sharp and your energy engaged. 5 months is just the right amount of time, long enough to create meaningful, measurable results, but not so long that your focus begins to fade. It's what I call the sweet spot of transformation. Long enough to see real change, short enough to stay committed. And here's something else that makes this plan so powerful. It's simple. Now don't confuse simple with easy. It's not easy. If it were, everyone would do it. But it is straightforward. You don't need any special talents, connections, or lucky breaks. You don't need to wait for the perfect time or for everything in your life to align. All you need is commitment and consistency. So here's my challenge to you, and I don't mean someday. I mean right now. Commit to these next 5 months. Make a decision that from this moment on, you're all in. No holding back. No halfway effort. No backup plans. Just full, clear, deliberate commitment to becoming the person you know you're capable of being. Write down today's date. Go ahead, do it now. Then, write down the date exactly 5 months from today. That future date, that's not just another day on the calendar. That's your rendezvous with a new version of yourself. One that's stronger, more focused, more fulfilled. Circle that date. Highlight it. Protect it like it's sacred. Because it is. Let nothing interfere with that appointment. No excuses. No delays. You don't need to wait for tomorrow or for the timing to feel right. Conditions will never be perfect. The first step always feels uncertain, but the first step is everything. Take it today, even if it's small, even if it's just 5 minutes of reflection or 1 page from a book. Because remember, a journey of 1,000 miles doesn't begin with a giant leap. It begins with a single step. And now, I'll leave you with this final thought. 5 months from now, you will arrive. That much is guaranteed. Time will pass. The days will move forward. The real question is, where will you be standing when that day comes? Will you arrive in a place of greater clarity, stronger health, deeper relationships, increased fulfillment, and renewed purpose? Or will you find yourself in the exact same spot you're in now, wondering why nothing really changed? The choice is entirely yours. But don't forget, not choosing is still a choice. Inaction is still an action. It's a decision to stay the same when you have the chance to grow. To remain stuck when forward was just 1 step away. I want you to know something. I believe in you. I believe that these next 5 months have the potential to become the most transformative period of your entire life. If you commit to applying what I've shared with you today, I truly believe that inside of you, there is untapped greatness just waiting to be unleashed. And I also believe with all my heart that your best days aren't behind you. They're still ahead, waiting to be claimed. So make the decision. Commit fully to this journey. Trust the process. Show up each day with intention and determination. And then watch with amazement as your life begins to shift in ways you never thought possible. It takes just 5 months, 5 months of focused energy, 5 months of disciplined effort, 5 months of consistent, deliberate action, 5 months of choosing progress, day after day. That's all it takes to rewrite your story. Time is going to pass anyway. So why not use it to create the life you've always dreamed of living? Why not use it to step into the person you've always believed you could become? Let this be the chapter where everything changes, where your story becomes one of purpose, growth, and lasting achievement. Remember, success isn't some mysterious force. It's simply the steady, daily realization of a meaningful goal, a worthy ideal. So start that journey today. Set your vision in motion now. Follow this 5-month plan with everything you've got, and I promise you'll never be the same again. The choice is yours. So what will you decide? Today, I've shared with you a clear, practical blueprint for transforming your life in just 5 months. It's built on 5 foundational pillars: philosophy, goals, action, learning, and association. It's structured around 5 powerful phases: foundation, momentum, deepening, acceleration, and integration. And it helps you overcome 5 common challenges: consistency, distraction, doubt, setbacks, and environment. But here's the truth. None of it matters if it stays in your notebook. Knowledge isn't power, it's potential power. It only becomes powerful when you apply it. So please don't walk away from this video just feeling inspired. Let yourself be changed. Don't just take notes. Take action. Don't just hear these words. Live them. I opened this message by telling you that the next 5 months could mark the beginning of something remarkable. I'll close by saying they absolutely will if you make the decision today, if you take full responsibility, if you commit to your growth and follow through without excuse. 5 months, 150 days. That's what stands between the life you have and the life you want. Make them count. Begin today and never ever look back. Because, my friends, the future doesn't just belong to the lucky or the talented. It belongs to those who prepare for it, starting now. Your future is waiting. It's time to go claim it. Wishing you strength, growth, and a life filled with purpose. Stay healthy, stay happy, and don't forget to subscribe to Mindset Daily so we can continue this journey together.